It came back. Not with an apology, not with an explanation, just a message. 3 words, maybe 4. Something casual, something warm, something that had no right to feel as good as it did. And somewhere in your chest, something moved. You told yourself you were over it. You told everyone you were over it. You had a whole speech prepared for exactly this moment. And then the moment came, and the speech disappeared. This isn't weakness. This isn't stupidity. This is biology operating exactly as it was designed to. And the person who came back? They knew that. They have always known that. There is a term in clinical psychology, narcissistic supply. It doesn't sound like much. 2 words, academic, cold. But understand what it actually means, and everything, every interaction, every fight, every moment of warmth, every sudden disappearance, finally makes sense. Narcissistic supply is attention, but not the ordinary kind. It is the specific emotional energy produced by another human being, their admiration, their anxiety, their love, their pain, absorbed by someone who cannot generate their own sense of self. Let that hand. They could not feel real without your reaction. Any reaction. It didn't matter whether you were looking at them with love or looking at them with fury. Both felt identical to them. You were not a person to them. You were a mirror, and a mirror has one function: to reflect. When you reflect admiration, they feel powerful. When you reflect pain, they feel powerful. When you beg, they feel powerful. When you leave, they feel nothing, and that nothing is unbearable. Not because they miss you, not because they love you, because without your reflection, they lose the ability to see themselves, and that is why they come back, not for you, for what you give them simply by existing in their orbit. This is not a metaphor. This is the documented clinical mechanism behind every return, every Hoover, every 2 a.m. message you never asked for and couldn't stop reading. The return is never random. Understand this completely. What feels like an impulse is architecture. What feels like longing is calculation. Not always conscious calculation, but calculation nonetheless. The narcissist does not return when they are doing well. They return at the precise intersection of 2 conditions. Their current supply is running low, and they have calculated, consciously or not, that you might still have something left to give. There is a name for this behavior, hoovering, named after the vacuum brand, because that is precisely what it is, a systematic attempt to pull you back into proximity, close enough to be used again. And the methods are not accidental. They are drawn from a psychological playbook, so consistent across different narcissists, different countries, different ages, that researchers began to notice they were reading the same script. The sudden vulnerability play. They reach out wounded. Something terrible has happened. They need you, specifically. Only you would understand. This triggers your empathy before your logic has time to engage. The false reformation. They've changed. They've been in therapy. They've been thinking about what they did. They just want a chance to apologize properly. This one is engineered for people with high emotional intelligence. People who believe in growth, who want to be fair, who hate the idea of being the person who didn't give someone a second chance. The nostalgia ambush. A memory, a song, a photo. Something that existed before things got complicated. This one bypasses the present entirely and reaches directly into the part of your memory that only stores the good version of them. Because that version existed. That is the cruelest part. The warmth was real. The laughter was real. The moments that made you think this person genuinely sees me, those were real. Let it breathe. They were also deliberate. The warmth was the investment, the love bombing at the beginning, the intensity, the speed, the feeling of being chosen by someone extraordinary was the foundation being laid for exactly this moment, so that when they reach back toward the nostalgia, there is something real there to grab. You are not remembering something false. You are being weaponized by something true. Now we reach the part that nobody explains properly. Why you feel the pull, not intellectually, not because you forgot what they did, not because you think things will be different, but in your body, before your mind has time to intervene. In 1973, bank robber Jan Erik Olsson took 4 people hostage in Stockholm. Over 6 days, something happened that psychiatrists had never formally documented before. The hostages began to protect their captor. They began to feel loyalty toward him. One of the women became romantically attached. The world called it Stockholm Syndrome and assumed it was rare, an anomaly, a curiosity. It was not rare. It was simply the first time it had a name. The mechanism behind it, the neurological and psychological process of bonding with a source of both threat and relief, is one of the most powerful attachment responses the human brain produces. Here is how it works. The narcissist creates a cycle. Tension builds. An incident occurs. Coldness, cruelty, withdrawal, then reconciliation, warmth, remorse. The person you fell for returns. Then tension builds again. In an ordinary relationship, love is relatively stable. Warmth is consistent enough that it becomes background noise. But in this cycle, relief only arrives after suffering, and the brain, responding to intermittent reward exactly as it responds to a slot machine, begins to associate the person with the relief they provide far more powerfully than it associates them with the suffering they caused. This is not a character flaw. This is dopamine, cortisol, and oxytocin operating in a pattern they were never designed to withstand. Your nervous system is doing exactly what nervous systems do, seeking regulation, seeking the person who taught it that relief was possible, even when that person is the source of the dysregulation. This is the bond. Not love exactly, not weakness exactly. Something more biological than both. Something that doesn't respond to logic or time or distance until you understand what it actually is. So the message arrives, and now you understand the complete architecture of why it was sent. You understand narcissistic supply, you understand hoovering, you understand the trauma bond. And you still feel the pull, because understanding a trap is not the same as being free of one. The neurology doesn't care about your comprehension, the body keeps its own record. But here is what changes when you understand it completely. The message no longer means what they intended it to mean. It is no longer a lifeline. It is no longer evidence of love. It is no longer proof that you mattered. It is data. It means their current supply is insufficient. It means they calculated you might still respond. It means the pattern is repeating, because patterns, without intervention, always repeat. The people who break this cycle permanently do not do it by being stronger. They do not do it by wanting it less. They do it by understanding that their nervous system needs to be shown, repeatedly, over time, that regulation is possible without that specific person. That safety exists outside of the cycle. That the relief they have been returning to was manufactured specifically to keep them returning. This is not something you think your way out of. It is something you feel your way through. With support, with time, with the willingness to sit, with the discomfort of the pull, without answering it. If you are in the middle of this right now, not reading about it abstractly but living it, the work of untangling a trauma bond is some of the most specific, delicate work that exists in psychology. It benefits enormously from someone trained to guide it. We'll be exploring exactly how to find that support in a future video. For now, understanding the mechanism is the first step, and you've already taken it. They came back because you were valuable to them, not in the way you deserve to be valuable, in the way a resource is valuable. The fact that you felt the pull doesn't mean you failed. It means your nervous system was doing its job, protecting you from the pain of loss using the only tools it had been given. Understanding the mechanism doesn't erase the feeling, but it changes what the feeling means. It stops being evidence that you should go back and starts being evidence of how much you survived. They will come back again. They always do. The question was never whether they would return. The question is what you decide the return means. If this reached something in you, subscribe, because next week we go deeper, the psychology of why you attracted this person in the first place, and the specific pattern in your history that made you the perfect target. That video will be uncomfortable. It will also be the most useful thing you watch this month.